Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. So, Biden just agreed to have a debate with Trump, two, in fact. The first being on June 27th, hosted by CNN, and the second to be on September 10th, hosted by ABC. So, what's going to happen here? What's the point of Biden reaching out to officially schedule this debate? Most people didn't think he would do debates. I didn't even really think he was going to do the debates. It's still yet to be seen, right? We have some time for political shenanigans of any factor to come into play of just dropping out or not, somehow it not coming together. But currently, it seems June 27th, not that far away, we're going to have our first debate. Why would Biden do this? Because in the past, he was saying, I won't debate. Trump's a racist. Trump's a whatever. I won't platform him. There really was no point for Biden to have the debates when he was ahead in the polls because the burden of proof was on Trump, right? When you're ahead, don't do anything to lose ground. When you're losing, then you want to do whatever it takes to make up for the lack of base or whatever you're missing. So Biden now has shifted in the polls. He's going down month over month. Trump's increasing considerably. And this time, Biden's got to prove not why Trump is bad, but why his policies are good and why he should continue. People look back at Trump with objectively good things. The economy was better. It was safer. There were great things about the Trump presidency that people look back and say, I want that back. And also you have the effect of time, right? The rose-tinted goggles of like, oh, the Trump era was so great. And, the grass is always greener on the other side. So you can look back at Trump and say, I'd rather have Trump than what I'm having right now. Because what I'm having right now, I don't like. And Biden's at the epicenter of what goes on in the country, which is the country's falling apart. So people want Trump now. They've switched they've changed their minds. And so Biden now can't afford to keep losing ground. It's impossible for him to win if he continues to go down in the polls. So I think this is really the last ditch effort. I think the reason they didn't want to have the debates is because Biden clearly cannot debate for 2 hours against Trump, who is one of the most aggravating and annoying people to talk to of all time. And so Biden's handlers, I'm sure, are scared that Trump will go out and Biden will go out and Trump will get on Biden's nerves and Biden will turn into a very angry, screaming old man who will lose his train of thought and get upset and say things he's not supposed to. And it's much harder to do a debate than the rehearsed lines, right? I'm sure they'll get the questions early, which they're not supposed to, but I'm sure Biden's campaign will get the questions early and then he'll practice them and give the perfect answer. But when probed further by a moderator, when asked a follow-up question by Trump, or just Trump getting on his nerves, being an external, stimuli that makes him mad or loses train of thought or interrupts him or whatever, right? If he's giving a perfectly calculated answer and he gets interrupted halfway through, he might just totally lose his train of thought, forget what he was saying. That's hugely advantageous for Trump. To Biden's credit, the State of the Union, the most recent, event people thought he was going to totally lose all composure at, a couple months ago, he actually did pretty well at. Whatever medications they had him on, he did pretty well. He was pretty angry. He yelled a lot. But all in all, compared to like his typical daily performance, it was like night and day. He did a really good job, all things considered. If he brings that same level to the debates, he might just win. Because the expectations are on the ground for Biden. Like people believe that if Biden, they believe he's just going to basically die on stage in terms of his speaking ability, in terms of like his popularity, like he'll just totally lose face. That's like the expectation. And so if he just does fine, like he just looks like a normal guy, he doesn't even have to convince people that his policies are better than Trump's. Like if he just looks like he's not, doesn't have dementia, then he'll actually probably win the debate overall. This is really early, though. It's kind of a really early debate. It's before either of them are like officially the candidate, I believe. And so maybe they're doing this as the Hail Mary of goes out there. If he does fine, then we'll keep him. If he does awful, then we'll dump him at the convention. We'll get somebody else because they know that they can't keep this up for the next couple months. Like they have to show him. They can't hide him like they did in 2020. They can't blame it on the pandemic. They can't they actually cannot just like ignore him in general. And like they need him to go out there and gain publicity. He has to gain ground back. And the only way to do that is not by dragging Trump down. That's not working. What he needs to do is needs to say like why his policies are better and why he can actually win. Trump, on the other hand, opposite of Biden, he doesn't have to do anything. He has to just be composed and calm. Kind of a big hurdle for Trump, but he's capable of it. If Trump looks like a well-managed guy, he doesn't get emotional and he gets Biden riled up, and he knows his facts and he knows his numbers, and he speaks patriotically but very calmly and rationally, he'll win. That's what Trump needs to do. If Trump flies off the handle, then he'll lose, in the court of public opinion, right? So Trump has an easier time because clearly he's more mentally there than Biden is. Biden, however, has shown the capacity during specific events. I don't know how they prime him, whatever MK Ultra stuff they do to him right before these events, but he does seem to squeak through them most of the time. But a 2-hour debate is very different from the 45-minute speech he gave at the State of the Union. And you look at his average comments he gives, 5-minute, 10-minute speeches. His handlers are right there to grab him. He loses his train of thought really easily. He says things he's not supposed to. Over the course of a 2-hour one-on-one match with Trump, no matter how much the moderators try to get in, no matter how they cut him off, it's still going to be more apparent. And yes, there's not going to be much leeway for them to talk, but I think Trump will have enough influence to ask him questions that Biden won't answer. He'll look nervous or he'll just forget. That's my theory. That's what I think will happen. So I think overall Trump's going to win. I think Trump has the capacity to be composed in an environment that's not one of his rallies where he wants to be appealing to both sides, especially the independence that he's gaining. If he can remain calm, if he can remain fairly neutral and not call him names and stuff, bring up things about Hunter Biden, about Biden's alleged crimes, do all that, but don't yell at him. Don't, make things up. Don't use slurs. None of that. If he just makes Biden mad by bringing up facts or questions in a reasonable manner, and then Biden looks like the unreasonable one, Trump will win. So at the end of the day, those are my thoughts on this. I think Trump has the first debate probably locked down, but who knows? Who knows if we're even going to get there? Like I said earlier, we never know. Something could happen. They could cancel. So anyways, I'm looking forward to it a lot. It'll be happening soon, so keep an eye out, and I will definitely give some commentary on it when it happens. So in order for that, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to win, or how do you think it's going to pan out? Thank you for watching.